Hey there, friends. It's amazing how the media can trample over one story that they just get tired of, or one that pops up, and it tramples a massive story from the previous week. I'm talking about the Livelsburger Cybertruck issue, the New Orleans issue down there on Bourbon Street. Now we've got the California fires that have captivated American audiences for the last 2 to 3 days, and for several different reasons. Now, I'm not going to go into every single thing that is not right now. I do want to talk about some of the more obvious, because I don't like the fact that the media and some of the people in California are evading some of the blame that they do need. The first one is, I have seen people come out, obviously far lefties, trying to cover for the mayor of Los Angeles and the city administration, saying that they did not cut money from the fire department, or at least not into the numbers that they're talking about. They're lying to you. They did in fact do that. Los Angeles did cut $17.5 million from the fire department budget months before the deadly fires. They redirected a lot of that money into DEI programs to, of course, you want to, it doesn't matter that you can get somebody who can carry a body out of a burning building. It matters how sensitive they are to that person's personal needs, of course, right? Instead of you carrying me down a ladder, I want you to feel better about my sexual orientation as we do that, right? So they did in fact do that, and this chart from the city of Los Angeles does in fact prove that they are lying, and that they did cut $17.6 million actually out of their budget from the fire department. Now, that money could be spent in a multitude of different ways. Remember, these people, push people, good firemen who had been in there, already were in place, had tenure there in some cases, had been there for quite some time, pushed them out of their jobs because they refused to take an experimental shot back in the 2020 era. I'm not going to say any more about that because you know what I'm talking about. And now they're complaining that they have a shortage of employees on the heels of that mandatory firing and termination because they would not participate in that experiment. But what am I really here to talk about? I'm here to expose an issue that nobody seems to be talking about. And I feel like this is one of the biggest contributors to not only this fire, but spreading so fast. Now, I will be the first one to tell you that the mayor, the useless governor out there, they have nothing to do with these 80 to 100 mile an hour winds. I'm not stupid. I understand that. And I don't fault them or blame them for any of this. However, this ain't the first year that they've had these Santa Ana winds. So don't come at me like maybe on the Gulf Coast, we don't know when, if, or where we're going to have a hurricane. These people know they're going to have these same winds in this same area every single year. We also know that it's super dry out there. This ain't the first time they've had this issue in this area, especially more recently. Malibu, 2018, 2019, it burnt to the ground. So they've already rebuilt it and it's burning again. But I wanted to point out one of the things that I think is a contributor to this fire spreading, and it's a very obvious one. When we talk about a tinderbox, things go up like a tinderbox, you need kindling wood, right? They've got kindling all over out there. Kindling is something that you use that's easy to set on fire that will light a bigger fire. In this case, it's everywhere in this county, city, and community. I'm talking about underbrush. Now, they have a brush clearance requirement for the Los Angeles Fire Department. This is actually from their website where they talk about their, quote, new brush clearance requirements for Los Angeles. This brush clearing requirement is for the citizens of the area and states year-round compliance shall be maintained as described below on all native brush, weeds, grass, trees, and hazardous vegetation within 200 feet of any structure or buildings, whether those structures are on the owner's property or adjoining properties, and within 10 feet of any combustible fence, roadway, driveway used for vehicle travel. Now, that's putting the requirement back onto the citizens to clear brush on their property. And quite frankly, if that's what's it's gonna take to keep these fast-moving fires down, great. You know, I'm not a fan of regulation, but sometimes if you're going to protect your neighbor's property, you need to do a little maintenance on your own property. So I'm not totally against this requirement that they have. I don't know enough about the implementation of it or the fines. That I would probably have a problem with, how they actually penalize people who are not following along with this. But the actual requirement, I think, is necessary. Again, if they're going to have these winds and these the threat of these fires every single year, well, everybody should participate, right? That's right. But everybody should participate. The state and the county and the city of Los Angeles do not participate when it comes to what? Park property. Brush clearance on park land not done by California State. This is from an article that came out in August 31st, 2023 from circlingthenews.com. I suggest you go read it so you can get some truth out of here. The article states that it was clarified that the state requires brush clearance up to 100 feet from a structure on all sides of a residence. The city is actually a little bit more stringent, and it requires you to have cleanup 200 feet on all sides of a structure. But a man named Fink, who's in charge of this program, explains that the state does not do brush clearance on park land because, quote, we're here to protect the natural habitat. You understand what that means, right? That means that anything that is designated as parkland, because they're in the business of protecting natural habitat, they don't have programs in place to clear brush on any kind of public-related parkland, right? I know where I'm at here in South Louisiana, you might be thinking, oh, a park is a park, right? The merry-go-round, the rocking horses, the swings, seesaws, all that kind of stuff. No, that's a park. That's not considered park land only. You have pieces of parkland all over the place. I know we do, again, down here in South Louisiana, everywhere. There, you can look at different areas. It might be a beach. It might be an old tree that is part of the city's park, right? It may not have a swing or a merry-go-round there, but it is park land per se. California is no different. In fact, California has quite a bit of parkland. I went to their website, which is arcgis.com. Again, that's arcgis. And I pulled up a map that is kind of a cool map. It's interactive, where you can actually go look and see what areas are actual parkland. If you notice, there's this little legend over here to the right with this little trapezoid-looking green trapezoid-ish square. And that is what's going to show you on the map where you have actual parkland. You see it's actually notated there, countrywide parks and open space. There's a lot. I'm essentially looking at this area between Malibu and Santa Monica, and there is a ton. This is the whole Los Angeles, Hollywood area that we're talking about here. Look at all this parkland. You get into the mountains, again, where the fires are. Look at the hilly areas. You can see that's a topographical looking map here. You're going to see at the base of all those mountains and over closer in the Malibu area, there's way more parkland because obviously this is more open areas, whereas the areas down below in the general Los Angeles area, that's kind of the city. So there's not quite as many park areas, but there's plenty in there. But I want you to notice the concentration of those park areas. Remember, where you see the green lines, they are not clearing brush. That's really important that you understand. Those areas are not being cleared. Now I pulled up the fire map area that shows where the fires are. You can see there's some isolated areas that have much more fire in them than anything else, but I'm focusing on this bottom left-hand corner here, again, between Malibu and between Santa Monica. A lot of damage right there. There are some hilly areas and a lot of park area over there. So I wanted to take you there. I zoomed in a little bit on my park map for the Malibu proper area, and of course, again, Los Angeles. And you're going to notice something. As I zoom in a little bit more, this is pretty much Malibu specific. You notice Malibu in the middle. We have Santa Monica over there to the right. And now, boom. Look at Malibu over to the far left and Santa Monica over to the far right, okay? So this is the area that I'm going to focus on. Notice all the green lines, especially along the coast, but as you get up into some of these more hilly areas and mountainous areas, you're going to notice way more of those green lines getting more condensed and consolidated in those areas right there. Again, remember, everywhere you see green lines, the city, the county, and the state does not perform brush clearance in those areas because, again, they are in the business of protecting the habitat in these parts, not clearing brush. Let me overlay my map of this same area with the fire map of this main area that's concentrated with the big fires in the Malibu area. Let me kind of back off on the opacity a little bit so you can see this is the area. Notice the fire areas that I've made a little bit dimmer in the background, that reddish area. That's where the bulk of the fires are right now. This was a fire map image that I pulled off of the internet today. So this is right now that I'm talking about. As we speak, this is where the bulk of those fires are. I want you to look at all those green lines in between there. And the thing that is more frightening to me, if you look at where all those green lines are that are within the area that's currently on fire, look right next to it and all around it. All those green areas that still have green lines that are not on fire yet. You don't think that fire is headed that way? You don't think that with all that additional underbrush where you see the green lines next to the red area that's already on fire, that that's not kindling, that that's not something where this fire is looking at, that's food. You got winds and you got kindling. So you have the two main ingredients needed for a fire to continue to spread. So I don't see a lot of end in sight with this unless those winds completely die down. Again, here's the map of everything that you see, that no brush is being taken out by the city, the county, or the state, and they're proud of this. They brag about this. This is our fire area, and again, this is the overlay of both on top of one another so that you can see where these fires are in relation to the brush areas that are not being cleared by any of the local authorities, who in fact brag that they are protecting natural habitats by not clearing this brush, and they're not in the business of clearing brush. I think this is very important that people spread this word out there, because this is something that not many people are talking about. If you notice, everybody's focusing on the Delta smelt fish. That's a whole different story that's contributing to this problem. They're talking about how the reservoirs ran out of water, how there was the hydrants did not have water in them. They're talking about a number of different things out there. They're talking about the mayor being on another continent altogether, on the other side of the world. But no one's talking about the fuel needed to start and maintain a fire, which is wind, which they have plenty of right now, 60, 80, 100 mile an hour gusts, and the underbrush that they brag that they don't clear because they're not in the brush clearing business. They are in the natural habitat preservation business. You people in these areas, I feel sorry for you. My heart goes out to you. I know if my house caught on fire, the things that I would lose that I absolutely cannot replace, that I have accumulated over my lifetime on this round rock, right? You guys are losing that. And I feel for you. This feels for you. My family feels for you. We pray for you people. I don't care how much of a pompous ass you are and you live in that area. You've lost your home. I feel bad for you. Why? Because I'm a better person than you. You talk about me and my politics because you have a disdain for me as a person, and you would actually say, I deserve this. I don't think you deserve this. I don't think anybody deserves to lose family heirlooms and things that their families and themselves have accumulated over their lifetimes. What I do get angry about is that you learn nothing from this. You will vote the same way. You won't raise any hell about these green lines within this red area that's contributing to this fire. And there's no way that you can tell me that this doesn't contribute to the fire, because this is literally one of the two main ingredients needed. Besides a spark, you need wind and you need something to burn. And you are providing this in these areas. And the same time while you're home, and your neighbor's home, and your friend's home, and your pastor's home, and your school teacher's home, the same time that all these homes are burning to the ground, you're out there mad that Trump is trying to name the Gulf of Mexico Gulf of America, instead of getting angry at the local people in your area because you still haven't gotten over November 5th with Donald Trump winning the election. You're still angry and pissing and moaning about stupid things out there whenever you are going to turn around next year and later this year and vote for the same things that caused your home and all your precious commodities and things like that your family has accrued over time, maybe even brought over in a freaking wagon, horse and wagon, right? Burnt to the ground, and you'll never see those things again. Because you elect the same people all the time. Yes, I feel for you, I pray for you, and you did not deserve this. But if you don't make a change, you can't complain to us. And you can't ask the federal government to continue to fix your problem when you're choosing this problem. I give you one chance to get out of jail free card, if you will, to suffer these types of consequences and then learn from them. When you don't learn from them, I can't really feel sorry for you next time.
I don't understand the point that you're making.
God save the Queen, man.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America. He's